Billie Donovan is our Spurs lead assistant coach. Some Spurs fans say he eventually will be the coach. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Happy 4th of July. Have a fun and safe weekend out there. Before we address the main subject, Billie Donovan being Mitch Johnson's possible replacement, let's get a little background into who he is, since a lot of you have been asking. He is a 61-year-old Hall of Famer. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame and had a fantastic career at the collegiate level as a coach, coaching Marshall University for a few years and then spending most of his collegiate career with the Florida Gators, almost 20 years. And in that time, a 3-time SEC Coach of the Year in 11, 13, and 14, and back-to-back championships in 2006 and in 2007. So a fantastic college coaching record. By the way, that coaching record, he finished 502 wins, 206 losses. That is a 71% win percentage. So he's got the college background as a coach. But what about the NBA? All right, first and foremost, you might be looking here and saying, wait a minute, 2007 Orlando Magic ? I actually remember this incident. I didn't realize it at the time, but as soon as I did a little research on Billie Donovan, I was like, wait a minute, I remember that happening. Do you remember this happening? On June 1st, 2007, he agreed to a contract with the Orlando Magic. He even held a farewell press conference that day, saying goodbye, Florida. Well, not goodbye, Florida, because he's staying in Florida with Orlando, but goodbye, Florida Gators. Hello, Orlando Magic. Then he changed his mind the next day. And on June 6, 2007, he was released from his contract with the Orlando Magic to stay with the Florida Gators. Do you guys remember that? On to his coaching. He's had success, but has never won a championship. 2015 to 2020 with OKC, where he lost in the Western Conference Finals. We'll get back to that in just a moment. And he's lost in the first round 4 times with OKC. Went to the Chicago Bulls, lost in the first round once, and missed the playoffs 5 times. Now, in regards to that asterisk, this is actually really interesting. The Thunder blew a 3-1 lead versus the 73-9 Golden State Warriors, which is ironic because those same Golden State Warriors who just came back from being down 3-1 would blow a 3-1 lead of their own in the NBA Finals versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's actually kind of crazy, isn't it? For his NBA coaching career, he finished with 469 wins, 413 losses. That is a 53% win percentage, 19-27 in the playoffs, 41%. So he hasn't had the success in the NBA that he's had in his coaching career, but he's got a very solid coaching resume for sure. But the big thing that he's going to do for our Spurs is unlock our full offensive potential. Kind of like John Lucas did with David Robinson, took D-Rob to the next level. I think that's going to happen, not only just for Wemby to the next level, but for a lot of guys. He's going to bring a fast-paced offense, which can we fully unlock De'Aaron Fox's speed and the way our guys can get up the court quick, the entire team, spread pick and roll, which will help create mismatches and driving lanes. Driving lanes, hello, Fox, Harper, Castle. And then if the defense counters, we counter with lobs. We have the best lob threat in all of the NBA, not just all the NBA, on the entire planet in the solar system. And Victor Wembanyama. Use that height to our advantage. Don't have him standing out there 25 feet away from the rim, 30 feet in the rim away from them. Get him in Lob City. Get him into the dunker spot and get some Lob City 2.0 going with our Spurs. We expected that with Chris Paul. Didn't happen. Happened a little bit the last 2 seasons. Make it happen. Make it so. And then transition opportunities. Again, take advantage of the speed that we have, the fast-paced upper-tempo stuff. I really do truly believe that he's going to unlock the absolute full potential of this offense. But we're going to get back to the main subject, right? All right, so we know Billie Donovan is. He's got credentials. How about him replacing Mitch Johnson? A lot of blame has been, a lot of fingers pointed at Mitch Johnson for the way the NBA Finals played out, and I get it. Having the lead, a double-digit lead in every single game, and then the historic meltdown in Game 4, I get why you're frustrated with the coach. And if the Spurs have another playoff blunder like that, whether it's the first round, the Western Conference Finals, whatever, if a series that it looks like they should have probably won, and I think we should be NBA champions. I think the Spurs should be champions. There was a lot of things that went wrong in that series. It is what it is. But if there's another blunder, then Mitch is out and Billie Donovan is in. I know some of you might comment right now, TSR, the Spurs do not give up on coaches that easy. They don't. Anybody remember this? Because I do. I lived this, and this was horrible. If you're a newer Spurs fan during the Greg Popovich era, you don't know, or might know about this, but you didn't experience it, and this sucked. This is David Robinson's prime. My guy, right there. Larry Brown, Bob Bass, who was an interim coach after Larry Brown got fired, Jerry Tarkanian, who a successful college coach. I think he lasted 20 games. He's out. John Lucas, Bob Hill, and finally Pop. That was 6 coaches in David Robinson's prime. It was horrible. There was no stability at all. This is my time as a fan, mind you, until Pop arrived. And I don't ever want to see something like this happen again. It's awful. I'm actually experiencing it in another sport in the NFL with my New York Giants, who have a new head coach every 2 to 3 years. It's a disaster. Stability is very necessary, and I don't think something like this will ever happen again. But you never say never. Look how crazy this offseason has been for the NBA. The trades we're seeing that got you going, what? That trade just happened? Wait, Jaylen Brown for what? The amount of trades that have us going, I never thought that would ever happen. Go back to the Luka Doncic trade. The trade for Trae Young, the little bit under, just the trades we're seeing make you go, maybe anything is possible. Teams are trying to rush the process sometimes, and the Spurs generally have not been a rush the process franchise, or actually have not. But if Wemby's a little unhappy, if they have another playoff blunder, and he's looking at Mitch and he's like, I don't think this is the guy, it's either him or me, then it's going to be Wemby and the coach is out. So could it happen? I hope not. The reason so is something really, really bad would have to happen for the Spurs to look at Mitch Johnson, who they've been bringing up under Pop, who got them to the NBA Finals, helped get them to the NBA Finals last year as the coach. Something horrible has had to happen, and the train has just not only fallen off the rails, it's derailed, it's flipped a couple times, it's taken out a city, and it's exploding. Things have either gone nuclear for them to give up on Mitch Johnson after next season. And I don't want that, because that would be bad for us as a Spurs fans if things got that bad. So I don't see it happening. But never say never. I'm very curious on your thoughts on this. This is more of, I'm sharing my thoughts, but I'm very curious on your thoughts, because I know how divided this community can be on Mitch Johnson, where some of you are praising him, some of you can't stand him and want him gone, and I'm in the middle. I'm saying give him a chance, because sure, you can give a lot of credit, if you will, to Mitch Johnson and why the Spurs lost. There were obvious coaching mistakes made. I will not argue with there at all. But if you're going to place a lot of the blame on him for losing the finals, you also need to give credit for them getting there. And I know the counter argument to be, well, we only got to the finals because the talent was there. Mitch Johnson's a sucky coach. You know, we're a finals team because of the talent, not because of him. Then why don't we win? If the talent was good enough to get us to the NBA Finals and beat the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder, then why don't we beat the Knicks? That's all I got. I don't know. I'm rambling. Mitch, I'm rooting for you. Billie Donovan, I think, is a fantastic addition. Sure, the free agency signing might not be as exciting as you guys wanted. Maybe the draft picks weren't who you wanted, but overall, this offseason, 4 draft picks with one very, very big potential steal to draft with Jaden Quintans. This assistant coach hiring, plus bringing in Tobias Harris. I think the Spurs aren't making the huge flashy moves like trading for Giannis, but I think they're making the right moves. This is an NBA Finals team. Let's not reinvent the wheel. That's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great weekend. Thank you, and as always, go Spurs, go.